I really appreciate the character of each season of the year and what each has to offer. The beginnings of the seasons, in particular, when the last is only just behind us and the new one is only just asserting itself, are full of new beauty. The beginning of this spring already is offering up glorious assertions of its presence. You can become captured in one of these assertive moments at unexpected times and at almost anywhere. But sometimes I like to put myself in places where people haven't asserted themselves on nature so much, and thus increase my chances that nature and her season can assert themselves on me, like, say, a hiking trail. If you've ever been hiking in the woods, you know the subdued excitement of walking into the broken shadows of a trailhead, leaving behind your car and the pavement and that rustic wooden fence. With the first steps onto the trail, getting acquainted with the feeling of the woods, how quiet or noisy the birds are, how dense are the trees in their canopy, your senses are alive with sight and smell and hearing and feeling. But you're not aware of your own senses, you're only aware of what's around you, at least for a quarter mile or so. Then, if you're like me, your brain smoothly transitions from complete external sensory mode to a problem you've been trying to work out, or a movie you've just watched, or a podcast. This may consume your mind while you meander through the woods on autopilot until nature asserts herself again, with a captivating vista, or by tripping you with a rock or an exposed root. And after this pattern repeats itself several times, you may finally recognize what's happening. You're seemingly incapable of being continually present to what surrounds you, even when you've made an intentional effort to remove yourself from distractions and place yourself within an environment specially suited to capturing you. Frustrated at this, it's usually at this point that I determine to try to keep my senses alive and my vain, distracting imaginings at bay. But how to do this? I found that in the absence of spontaneous sensory appreciation and awareness of what's around me, I have two other thought modes: distracted imagination or conscious self awareness. In the first, I'm lost in thoughts, often completely irrelevant to the current moment, to the present. And in the second, I'm back in the present, briefly, but only aware of myself and within myself, and not immersed in what's around me. The mode of distracted imagination is what I'm trying to suppress, as it often rules me more than I rule it. Thankfully, though, moments of conscious self awareness do happen intermittently throughout the imaginations. If these moments aren't taken advantage of, I will quickly slip back into the imaginings. But in the moment that I become aware that I've been in that distracted mode, I have the freedom to choose to think of something else. In that moment, I have to turn my attention to what's around me. But how do I keep my attention on what's around me? How do I make it more likely that the beauty of the world around me can assert itself on me and that I can connect with it? I've discovered that I can begin to do this by using adjectives, just letting go of nouns and verbs in my thought for a while and only thinking in adjectives. In fact, thinking adjectively, you could say. With a little practice, this can be a very practical and useful method. When we're experiencing a moment fully, our hearts are actually recognizing all kinds of qualities and attributes that are beyond words, and silently uttering all kinds of adjectives that our brains can't grasp and our mouths can't pronounce. But when we're not quite at that level, we can begin with the adjectives we do know and can pronounce. Start with a tree, a bird call, the sky color, or even the burning in your legs. Begin describing them. Describe the feeling of the moment itself. This exercise helps to keep my attention on what's outside my own mind. Often, after using only a few adjectives, my heart will offer its own spontaneous, unspeakable contribution. And that's the moment when what's outside asserts itself and I can connect. Like lightning from the sky connecting with an upward streamer from the ground, nature discharges itself at the upward and outward offering my own heart makes in its direction. But I often have to positively charge my heart with conscious adjectives first. So, take time to be present in the world around you, especially nature and her seasons. Turn off the gnawing, ever-present imaginings that too often distract us by paying attention to the here and now. And be adjectival and connect to the world and to the moment. Hi, thanks so much for watching. I hope this has inspired you to get out there and be adjectival. I'd really appreciate it if you could hit subscribe so that you don't miss any of my content and you help me by growing the channel. Thanks so much, and God bless.